Fellow investors, Happy New Year. We're December 31st, a few hours before the end of the year. Was it a good one for you? Was it a bad one? Let me know in the comment how you went through 2021. On my side, it has been a great year. Some frustrating because my portfolio did well, but not as good as the market. It's time to stick with my investing strategy and not look at what the market does, because sometimes the market goes up and it doesn't mean that it's going to stay there forever. So while my portfolio was good, I was looking at what's happening in the industries, in the economy, and I decided to make a video about some major theme that will impact 2022 and how you can play them in your portfolio. Dividend investors, bonjour. My name is Mike Giroux. I'm the founder of Dividend Stocks Rocks and this investing channel where I help investors invest with more conviction so they can enjoy their retirement. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, to subscribe to that channel. Every single week, you'll get a new video, and we're going to start the year a few hours in advance with those major themes that we're going to talk about all year long, and maybe there are ways for you to adjust your portfolio and make sure that you ride those trends. So the first theme that we have today is obviously inflation and interest rates. We've been talking about rising inflation for more than a year now. Started towards the end of 2020. At first, central banks said, it's just transitory. Don't worry about it. It's going to last a few months or a few quarters and it's all good. And you know why they did that? You know why central banks, they seem pretty calm in 2021 about that topic, and why it's going to continue in 2022? Because they fear it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So let me explain. So it's pretty much easy, right? So you think that inflation is coming up. You think that all prices are going to rise, and even more going towards 2022. Your neighbors think the same thing, and the other neighbors and your friends and your family, and everybody thinks that, oh my God, I better rush my project. So I thought of doing some renovation in 3 years, or I thought of buying a new cars in 3 years. So how about I rush my purchase right away, run to the store and buy it while inflation is still under control, because I don't want to end up paying like 20% more on that project, that investment, that whatever good that you're planning to buy. So what happens when everybody thinks the same? They all rush towards the store at the same time, and demand increase through the roof. And there you go. You have inflation. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So what we've seen so far, we have seen, and we're going to talk about that in another theme, but chain supply disruption, lack of offer on many products, on many goods. Just for fun, my son wants PlayStation 5. It's been more than a year that he's waiting for them, and he still doesn't have one because they're very rare, and the only one that you'll find are on eBay's at like twice or 3 times the price, and he's not willing to pay for that. So he's going to wait, but many people will be willing to pay a higher price to get their goods, and this is how inflation is being created. Now, what does it mean for the stock market? Well, in general, stocks don't like inflation that much. When you think about it, it makes sense. If cost of raw materials increase and then wages increase, well, it's all those things that will put a burden on a company's margin, and if the margin gets squeezed, well, you make less money, and then it's no fun, because if earnings decline, chances are that dividend growth will slow down as well, and expectation from the market will cool off, and people will maybe start selling and would like to get some bonds and other types of investment that will pay a higher yield. So most of the time, you can protect your portfolio against inflation with stocks in commodities, because when cost of raw materials increase, it's usually linked to commodity price. You have REITs. Real estate is known to have escalator contracts. So as the rents increase all the time and it's already included in the contracts, you get some protection against the inflation. Utilities, pretty much the same way. They are able to increase their rate. Regulators will permit rate increase based on a rising inflation as well. Are pretty much all kind of business that are able to pass along a good part of the inflation into the price of their goods or products, so consumers will pay for them. So companies that operate in a highly competitive market or with very small margin, or there's a price war going on, those will be the ones that will get hit big time. So that comes inflation, comes also interest rate policy. Central bank said we're not going to raise them right away. We expect high inflation for another 2 quarters going to 2022. So expect some interest rate rising around summertime. I hope they will change their mind and they will do it faster than that. But I'm not the head of central banks and I don't control that, but I think it would be healthy. Obviously, an announcement of rising interest rates will bump the market. The market is not going to like that, and likely we're going to have like at least a correction. It's pretty much like telling your teenagers that the party's over and now they have to pick up the trash and clean the house. Nobody's happy about it, even though they know that the party cannot go on forever. So for those reasons, I think it will be healthy to have interest rate rising faster than later. But at the same time, they want to make, like central banks want to make sure that the economy remains strong, that the employment remains healthy, and they will likely just put the brake on that and just go it like one step at a time. Another theme that is related to 2022, chain supply disruption. That was a big problem in 2021. It also accelerated inflation in many cases because it hurt the offer and while the demand was still there. So how did we get there? Well, the thing is, it's not just about chip shortage in the technology industry. It's pretty much about all kinds of goods that are delayed right now and back orders. What happened across the world is we have identified countries and places where we can build facilities and manufacturers to create all kinds of goods. But we wanted to optimize that to get it like the right amount of quantity at the right price all across the world. So we went into just in time. Just in time means that you need 100 iPhones for tomorrow, you produce 100 iPhones for tomorrow. So then you optimize your facilities, you optimize your distribution network, and you don't pay for too much storage for nothing. What happened when you close your facilities due to a lockdown and a pandemic? Well, you don't produce goods anymore, and then your just in time kind of like go sideways. At the same time, we have consumers with more money in their pockets, willing to buy more iPhones, and then we're just saying, oh, you know what? Manufacturers didn't produce any, so we're kind of like backlog right now. And then we rush all transportation companies like ports, railroads, trucking industry to rush more distribution. And now there's backlog there as well because they lack of employees and they cannot meet the demand on this part as well. So all that created a snowball effect where everybody got some backlogs and now we're still waiting to get those backlogs end. Many companies expect that we're going to be done with shortage around summer of 2022. If it's the case, there's not much you can do with your portfolio because everything is priced in already. However, if the shortage lasts longer, it will have an impact on the economy. It's going to slow down the economy, obviously, because you won't be able to sell your goods. So if you don't sell your goods, you make less revenue, you make less profit, and then the market gets upset about your stock. That may happen. In this case, it's really hard to understand what's going to happen and like to bet. Your guess is as good as mine. So personally, I will not modify my portfolio. I've just made sure that my assets are good, that the companies I have in my portfolio are solid, and they have plenty of growth vectors. So even though they have a bad year due to a shortage or a change supply disruption, I know that they will still be around for a long time because they have a robust balance sheet and their business is not going to die based on chain supply disruption. A third theme that we're going to talk a lot in 2022 is ESG investing. So everything that is socially responsible, good government that is healthy for the environment. We're going to talk a lot about climate changes, about net zero emission. Pretty much all kind of companies, they have now their ESG plan or their net zero plan. And here I think it's a good thing to think about the environment, but there's a lot of marketing involved into this. So there's a lot of gray area and you have to be very, very careful. At Dividend Stocks Rocks at DSR, what we did is that we offer now an ESG score to help you determine if a company is doing the right things or not. It's not perfect, but at least it will help you to make the first triage, the first filter to select companies that has a better ESG plan. You can obviously go with obvious choices like renewable energy or with engineer firms that are geared toward ESG projects. But then for all the other industries, it's not always clear what is good and what is not so good. So having this scoring system will help you, and we're not just doing it on ourselves. We use Refinitiv information to offer it to our members, so they can count on something that has been tested, that has been including so many types of different information to calculate the scoring, that it's going to give you a pretty good idea. Yet more digging will be required. Do not take for granted that a company is suddenly ESG just because they tell you to so. So you have to do a little bit more digging and looking into their quarterly earnings, what the CEO says, looking to their ESG report, and then do some thinking on your own. It will help you understand a little bit better what they do and determine if it's a good investment or not. One thing that is obvious, all companies that are known across the market to have a great reputation around ESG will definitely get more money moving forward, because if there's one thing that is sure is most funds, most institutional investors, they don't want to get caught up into some ESG scandal. So with fraud or for environmental problems, they don't want to get there. So they will be very cautious where they invest their money, and they want to make sure that they support companies that will come clean and that will not present a threat for ESG investing. Last but not the least, market valuation. Market valuation. The market is overvalued, right? We keep saying that year after year. The crash is coming, winter is coming, and get ready for some royal rumble in the stock market. It may happen in 2022. It may not. So instead of fearing the market, I kind of like developed like some kind of like a playbook for people that are either invested right now and they're scared, but they want to stay invested, and that's the good thing. Or people that has a lot of money on the sidelines and they don't know exactly what to do with them. So here, like simple playbook here. So if you are roughly fully invested and you're just afraid that the market is going to come into a bubble and it's going to burst in 2022, here's what I would suggest you to do. First thing, review your portfolio. Look at your sector allocation, look at your stocks. You can rate them. This is what we do at DSR. We have a pro rating from 1 to 5. And then a dividend safety score from 1 to 5 as well. So make sure that you're not overexposed to any kind of sectors, and then make sure that the company that you have are the best of the class for each industry. So strong ratings for if you would buy them again today or not, and a strong rating for their dividend safety score, meaning that they will increase their dividend in 2022. With those in mind, then you can adapt your portfolio, sell overweight sectors, sell some companies with weaker stocks. At DSR, what we do is that we provide replacement lists. So let's say that you have Laurentian Bank in your portfolio. We don't like Laurentian Bank at DSR, so we're going to tell you, hey, this one is rated as a sell. You should get rid of it, but we do like National Bank. What a surprise, right? We do like Royal Bank. So here are like some replacement in the financial industry that you can do to stay with the same sector allocation if you're good with it, but at the same time, improve your portfolio and the chance of receiving dividend increases in the future. After that, once you have done this, look at your heavy lifter. So look at your biggest position in your portfolio. Make sure that you're not overweight at one point and that one company is not like 15 or 20% of your entire portfolio. It happened to me in the past with Apple. I decided to trim a little bit, just sell a few shares, just to make sure that I keep it around 10% of my portfolio. I like to ride my winners, but at the same time, at one point, you want to cash some profit and make sure that your portfolio is still well diversified. So to summarize, you look at your sector allocation, you look at your stocks rating, you sell the weaker stocks, replace them with better rating. You make sure that your portfolio is not overweight into one or two position. And then you're up to enter 2022 with a smile. Now, if you are retired and you count on your portfolio to generate income, make sure that you have some kind of cash reserve. We explained that at DSR how to build it, but it's important to make sure that you don't have to sell shares at a very bad timing when the market drops like a rock, right? So you want to make sure that your dividend is enough to cover your monthly budget. And if not, well, build a cash reserve right away. Maybe trim a few great positions so you can have like a few dollars left, and if you need money, if there's any emergency, you can take that cash instead of sell shares at the very bad timing. So that's the playbook for someone who is invested. If you are not invested, or if you're partially invested and you have like a lot of cash on the side, here's how I would do it. I would first determine a buy list. So I want to make sure to know which kind of stocks, which kind of sector I want in my portfolio. So I get this ready. I'm excited. I've written my investment thesis on those stocks and I'm all about investing right now. Then the second step is I invest 1/3 of my money right away. So imagine that you have $100,000 to invest. You invest 33 grand right away into your new portfolio. You buy stocks no matter what happens. So then you wait. You wait at least 3 months. You wait to get the next earnings report for each company. You review it to make sure that there's no more changes, that everything is still good, your investment thesis is still right, and there's no major event that kind of like crash the market or change the environment where you invest going forward. After that, you invest another third of your money. So another $33,000 in the same stock, so you grow your portfolio. What's going to happen over those 3 months is either the market is going to go up, either it's going to go down, or there is going to stay stable, right? So if it goes up, well, at least you had some money invested, so you benefit from that growth on the market. If it remains stable, well, not making any much change, so you just invest and then you just have more dividend the next quarter and then it will be fine. If it goes down, it gives you an option to average down the price of stocks that you already bought in, and it's a good way to make sure that tomorrow morning you don't suffer from a big market crash and you invested your full $100,000. So after that 3 months where you have invested the second third of your money, you just wait another 3 months. Same thing, rinse and repeat. So you look for earnings, you review your portfolio, you review your investment thesis, and then you invest the rest of your money, the remaining $34,000 in this example. Why do it over like 6 to 9 months? Well, most cases, what we fear when we have a lot of money sitting on the sideline is we fear that we're going to invest today and tomorrow will be the start of a big crash and then it's going to go down for a year. We don't want to live through that, and we certainly don't want to regret this crazy, ridiculous, bad timing that we could have, right? So most of the time, we just, based on that rationality, we just sit and wait. But then we wait forever and we never know when it's the right time to invest. So with a clear plan, what's going to happen is that every 3 months, you have a chance to either average down or either say, you know what, it's a good thing that I had a little bit of money invested because the market is still on the bull market. After 9 months, you'll be fully invested. And if the market keeps going up, well, then at least you'll be building a cushion for the next market crash. And if the market is crashing while you invest, well, you're averaging it down. So you might not catch the bottom, but you will have a chance to buy shares at a lower price. And as we have seen in the recent stock market history, when the market goes down, there's a lot of margin call. There's a lot of hedge funds that are forced to sell massively. So the drops are massive. They are violent. And then if you wait every 3 months to invest, you'll be able to pick up stocks at a very interesting price, maybe down 20, 25% within the next 6 months. So here's how I would do it. Keep it simple. Keep it straightforward. You can do it for like 12 months if you want and invest like 1/10 every month or whatever. Like there's no magical recipe here, but the key here is to have a clear plan and to not hesitate once you get it started. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I wish you health and wealth for the new year. Again, thank you so much for being here with me every single Thursday morning. Give me a thumbs up, follow this channel to make sure that you get those videos every single time. I'll be back next week, next year with more videos about what is going to perform well in 2022. So stay tuned. And while you'll be sipping champagne today, I hope that you will remain invested. Cheers.